Okay, so let's dive right in today. We're exploring a source that's maybe a little different for us. It's a really sweet story called PomPom's Silent Song and Cloud Village Friendship. And it centers on this character, PomPom. He's basically the life and soul of Cloud Village, known for, hilarious songs, spot-on impressions, just brings the energy.
He really does. He's the one filling the sky with laughter, you could say.
Yeah.
But the story throws a curveball pretty quickly.
Yeah.
PomPom suddenly loses his voice.
Yeah.
Just gone. And the source, it paints this really vivid picture of his panic. You see him floating frantically, mouth moving.
But nothing comes out.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you really feel that fear for him in those moments. The story shows him like gesturing wildly, pointing at his throat, trying absolutely everything.
Right. And then this is quite visual. He actually draws a big no voice symbol right there in the sky.
Using a cloud.
Exactly, using the cloud. And Toby, another character, sees it. And then it sort of dawns on everyone what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
What's fascinating, I think, about this setup is how his main way, his only way really, of connecting and expressing himself is just, poof, gone.
Completely.
And it immediately brings up this question the story digs into.
Yeah.
What happens? Not just to PomPom, but like to the whole village vibe when his usual voice isn't there anymore.
Exactly. It looks simple on the surface, but it unpacks some really big ideas, doesn't it? Communication beyond just words, how friends really show up for each other.
And maybe that your value isn't just tied to what you do or perform outwardly.
Precisely. So that's kind of our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To see what this little story can maybe teach us about those times when, well, words fail.
And the way his friends react is absolutely key here.
Yeah.
The story shows they don't just like stand around awkwardly. They step up.
But not with words, mostly.
No, not necessarily with advice or, it'll be okay platitudes. They respond in their own ways, their own sort of nonverbal languages.
Right. Like you see Singing Cloud trying to teach him to communicate using floating musical notes.
Which isn't PomPom's thing at all, but it's an offer, right? An offer of a different kind of expression.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Crying Cloud. Normally, maybe it just expresses sadness with a little rain.
Yeah.
But here instead creates this comforting bowl of vanilla cloud soup for PomPom.
Oh, that's lovely.
It is.
Mm.
And even Grumpy Thundercloud, who you'd expect to just boom about something,
Mm-hmm.
quietly offers him a mug of steaming lightning cocoa.
Lightning cocoa.
I know.
Wow.
But each action, it's specific. It's tangible care. It bypasses the need for PomPom to ask using words he doesn't have.
It really shows they were listening, doesn't it? Just not with their ears, maybe. More like with their hearts to his distress.
Exactly.
And the source points out this moment where Toby sits with him. PomPom's feeling pretty down, and Toby just says gently something like, PomPom, even without your voice, we still feel how important you are.
Mm-hmm. You make us laugh and brighten the sky. Now it's our turn to be here for you.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, that quiet acknowledgement of his value, separate from the songs and impressions.
That feels like a turning point. This story describes this soft breeze wrapping around PomPom like a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And then he responds non-verbally. He traces thanks in the sky.
So he's receiving their support and showing gratitude, all without sound. It's this shared understanding.
Precisely.
And then the next morning, his voice is back.
It is. And the very first thing he does, because he's PomPom,
He has to do an impression.
of course, he blurts out, the Toby shell is actually made of jelly.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
And the whole village just erupts in laughter. Huge relief, obviously.
He's back.
He's back to being PomPom the entertainer. But, and this is crucial, the story adds this pause.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't just launch into joke after joke. He stops and says something softer like, I've learned something. Losing my voice wasn't the end of the world. Because you all listen to me in your own way.
Wow. That's the core of it, isn't it? His
Yeah.
worth, his place. It wasn't just about making noise.
Exactly. It took losing his voice and seeing how his friends showed up non-verbally for him to really get that they saw him. PomPom, the friend, even when he was silent.
And Toby backs this up, right? Saying something like, and you, PomPom, are a voice all your own, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Affirms that inherent value.
So, okay, let's bring this back to you, listening. What does a story like this make you think about? How do we communicate our value or maybe our need for support when words are difficult or maybe just not available?
Yeah. And when someone in your life goes quiet, how do you listen for their silent song? What does that even look like?
It's such a powerful reminder, I think, that communication is so much more than just spoken language. It's the vanilla soup, the lightning cocoa, maybe just sitting in shared silence.
Or a simple trace in the sky. It's about actively looking for ways to connect, to support, even when the usual channels feel blocked.
Definitely.
Which leaves us, I suppose, with a question to ponder, maybe a mull over after this. How often are we actually missing the silent songs happening all around us? What are those nonverbal cues, those signals of need, or maybe gratitude, or even just inherent value that are present in our everyday lives? And how can we learn to listen in our own way a bit more effectively?
Like the friends in Cloud Village.
Exactly. Something to think about.